What's up, YouTube? My buddies over at DynoVox sent me out some Shorty headers for my 5.3 LS. I got another video on the channel where originally they sent me out these long tube headers, and I did an unboxing and review on them, and they're super nice long tube headers, great quality. But because I don't know exactly what this motor is going to go in, I reached out to them and asked them if they'd send me a set of their Shorty headers as well to unbox and review and compare them to these long tubes. I don't know what this motor is going in. It's just kind of a motor I'm getting prepared for a project one day. So sometimes you can run long tubes. Sometimes you can run short tube headers. It really just depends on how much clearance you have and way your steering shafts and all that are oriented. So this way I'll have a set of shorties and long tubes. That way whatever project I go with, I know I'll be able to use some sort of these DynoVox stainless headers on it down the road. And like I said, these long tubes are super nice. I was really impressed with them. I've bought Holly headers in the past. I got a set of Hollies on a 302 I built. And honestly, these are nicer than my Hollies. The Hollies are just painted black, and the metal's a lot thinner. The tubing is thinner. The flanges are thinner. So these are some really good quality parts. They're priced well compared to the Hollies. They're a lot cheaper. So you really can't go wrong. Go check out DynoVox. They're going to be having a Black Friday sale here pretty soon. I got more info on that later in the video if you're interested. But so far working with DynoVox, I've been really impressed with their customer service, how quickly they can get back to you, the quality of the parts. All in all, I'm glad they reached out to me and sent me these headers. This is not a paid advertisement. This is just my honest review of the parts. They said, we'll send them to you. Let us know what you think, how we can improve, if they're good, if they're bad. And I had no qualms with these long tubes. So I'm going to unbox these shorties and see how they are. All I've done is just cut the tape on this box. I didn't have to do it on camera in front of you guys. Don't want to bore you, but there you go. There's your Shorty header right there. Man, I tell you what, I'm TIG welder by trade. That's what I did for many years. And the TIG welds on these headers are awesome. I mean, they're very good. I don't know if a machine's doing this. I don't think a machine is doing this. I think these are done by hand for the most part. So whoever y'all got welding your headers up at DynoVox, give them a raise. Got the opposite side, super thick flanges. Again, nice welds all the way around. Nice welds on the inside. Super good quality stuff, man, I'm telling you. And it's gonna come with new gaskets and all the hardware you need. And really the only thing, and I said this in my long tube header review, the only thing I can knock negatively, or it's not even really negatively, it's the only qualm I could say that I got with these headers is I would like to run just a little bit better bolt. I like to run ARP stuff. I'm sure these bolts would work just fine, but header bolts get a lot of heat and ARP makes good quality stuff. So, but I mean, they're sending you equivalent to what factory runs. So that's really the only thing I can negatively say about these headers. And it's really not even anything negative. I mean, that stuff's gonna work just fine. But on my personal stuff, I like to use ARP bolts just because I know they're super high quality and they're not gonna snap off in your head or, break over time due to all the heat cycles. But anyways, get that out of here. I'll show you. You can see your difference. Long tube versus shorty. I'll bring bring you in a little closer and let y'all see. So there's you a good comparison of your long tubes versus shorties. Long tubes, in my opinion, do sound better, but shorties are a lot easier to install, a lot easier to work around. So each one has its pros and cons. Under 500 horsepower, the horsepower difference between these two is probably going to be pretty nominal, pretty small amount, maybe 5 horsepower difference, if that. If you're doing a high horsepower motor, you'll probably see a bigger difference. You're going to make more horsepower with the long tubes. And there's your stock manifolds compared to the long tubes. I'll bring you over here to the bench and show you. So here's a good comparison of a long tube versus stock versus shorty style exhaust manifold header, whatever you want to call it. Your stock, as soon as they exit the head, the exhaust all flows into one single tube. On a shorty, kind of the same idea, but each one has a longer runner before they all flow into the collector. And that's to help with exhaust scavenging, excuse me. I'm not even gonna try to explain that. If you wanna go understand that, there's some more videos on the internet and YouTube that explain it in depth and very well. But just the simplest form I can say is the less exhaust scavenging you have, the more horsepower you're gonna make, the better your car is gonna run. The more exhaust scavenging, less horsepower, the less fun you're gonna have. And obviously your stock manifolds are going to have the most exhaust scavenging effect happening. You're gonna have the least amount of flow. An engine is basically just a big air pump. The more air you can put in it and the more air you can get out, the more horsepower you're gonna make. So least amount of horsepower, more horsepower, most horsepower. Now, benefits of the shorty header, a lot easier to install. If you're working in, confined space, don't have that much room, you got a lot of stuff in your engine bay, steering shafts and stuff to work around, shorty headers are the way to go. They're gonna fit almost basically how the stock ones fit. Long tubes, they sound better, make more horsepower and torque in most applications, but they are very hard to install. You got to install them from underneath the truck or car in most cases. They're harder to work around, but you just got to kind of weigh the pros and cons. Long tubes do sound a little different than shorties, but to each their own. Some people like the sound of shorties better. Some people like the sound of long tubes. So just do your research and see what you like better, what you think might work better for your project. But just like in my last video, the welds are super nice. Nice thick flanges. You can see a factory flange thickness. These almost look thicker than factory. And they are thicker than other headers that I've bought in the past. So good quality stuff from DynoVox. Go check them out. They got tons and tons of parts on their website for all different makes and models, Jeeps, cars, trucks. I'm sure they got something for your vehicle. And like I said, they're good quality parts and good prices. So if you're on a budget like me, if you're a budget hot rod guy, we're always trying to save money, and this is a good way to do it. But anyways, I'm gonna get these shorties thrown on this motor right here so you can kind of see what they look like. That's a small block Chevy 350. I got a set of shorties on that. Built that motor a long time ago and been saving it for a special project. That was actually my great-grandfather's motor that came out of his vehicle. And after he passed, the old van that it was in got scrapped because it caught on fire thanks to some squirrels shorting out some electricity in it. But I wanted to save that motor. It's only got like 20 or 30,000 original miles, and it's a Vortec Chevy. So if you know anything about that, you know those are good motors. So one day I'm gonna put that thing in a project and in honor of my great grandfather. But right now we're working on this LS, and not sure what it's going in yet, but it's gonna go in something fun one day too. But right now we're just dressing her up, making her look better, and getting a little more horsepower. And these DynoVox headers are gonna help me do that. But anyways, enough yapping. Let's get to installing. So in DynoVox's kit, they're gonna send you new exhaust gaskets. And it is always a good idea to replace those when you do this, just so you ain't gotta worry about exhaust leaks down the road. They're gonna provide you some hardware as well. Go ahead and start your bolts. Get this thing held in place. Now I'm not going to be able to install all these bolts because unfortunately when I was taking the stock manifolds off, some bolts broke off in the head. So I have a fun little project of extracting those old broken bolts out of there so I can get the new bolts in. But now this isn't going to be final mock-up for me, so I'm not going to worry about torquing these bolts to spec. But go online, look at the recommended torque for intake manifold, exhaust manifold torque specs. That way you don't snap bolts off in your heads like that happened to me. Man, those look good. Nice welds. Nice solid tubing. Some nice quality parts for not that much money. And in today's economy, anytime you can save some money, it is worth it. Because nothing is cheap anymore. And hot rodding, or being a car enthusiast, truck enthusiast, excuse me, whatever you want to call yourself, it is not a cheap hobby. Probably one of the most expensive hobbies. Well, there you go. No worries about plug wires getting melted. You could go back on here if you really wanted to and put some heat shield around your plug wires. If you just wanted to be extra cautious. You could even get some header wrap and wrap these headers, and that would really cut down on the heat that they're putting out, cut down on the heat in your engine bay. It's always a good idea. Hot Rodder has been doing that for a long time. But personally, I've run these style headers before on different builds, and I've never had any issues with heat so far, fingers crossed. But overall, guys, really impressed with these DynoVox parts that they've sent me. Like I said, super good customer service. All the guys over there are really cool. Everybody I talk to seems to be out of Colorado. Super fast shipping. And these things are really, they are pretty identical to the big name brands. Not going to say them, but they're going to charge you a lot of money, and you're going to basically get the same thing. And like I said, I do have a set of Hollies on a 302 and another truck. And the Hollies, unfortunately, even though I paid good money for them, flanges are not as thick as these. Tubing's not as thick. And I thought by paying the big bucks, I was going to get the big bucks parts. But I don't know. But when DynoVox reached out to me, I was, skeptical at first because I'd never heard of them. Well, they're a small company. They're trying to get started, and they're pumping out some good stuff. I can't knock them. Like I said, the only thing I wish was a little better is these bolts. But still, they're high quality bolts. They're not gonna, snap off on you. But I'm kind of picky when it comes to nuts and bolts, and I like ARP stuff. But again, that's the big bucks. You're paying big money, and if you're just trying to get your motor up and running and go have some fun with it, these bolts are going to work just fine. And I'm sure the guys at DynoVox have done the engineering behind them and know the specs on them and know they're probably OEM quality, if not better. So anyways, the DynoVox is having a Black Friday sale, and they're going to have a bunch of stuff on huge markdowns. So I'm pretty sure you can get these headers for a really good price. But go check them out, guys. Good stuff. Well, guys, you can see the headers look pretty good on this old 5.3. Definitely spices it up a little bit. Maybe one day in the future, when I actually get this thing in a project, I'll run it with the shorties and we'll run it with the long tube headers and see which sounds better. I think that'd be a pretty cool video. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me. Drop a comment. If you're, are you a shorty header guy, long tube header guy? What have y'all noticed on these 5.3s? Do they like one? Do they not like it? Does it really make a difference? Have you had trouble installing long tubes? Have shorties been easier? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you've experienced. I'm curious to know. I know in my past experience, like I said in this video, shorties are easier to install, but man, do them long tubes sound good. But if you want to buy a set of these, you can go to DynoVoxParts.com. Or if you wait for their Black Friday sale that's coming up on November 27th, it's going live at like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to run through December 2nd. They're going to have a lot of stuff, 50% off. That's dirt. Some of that stuff's going to be dirt cheap at 50% off, but they're going to have tons of performance parts for diesels, trucks like these, 5.3s and all that. They're going to have their DPF, EGR deletes on sale. Intake, all-in-one kits, catalytic converters. They're going to have a ton of stuff on sale for that Black Friday sale. They got over 200 new parts on the website, and they're constantly adding more. So I'm sure they're going to have something for your project. I know they got Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Mopar, Toyota, Honda, I think. So go check their website out. They're growing, they're getting bigger, and it's nice stuff at an affordable price. And if you want to save some money, wait for that Black Friday sale. November 27th is right around the corner, and 50% off. I don't know of any of the other big guys running 50% off Black Friday sales. So definitely hit up DynoVox and get your project back on the road, or if it's already on the road, get it spiced up a little bit. But anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Thanks again to DynoVox for sending me these things. And like I said, this is not a paid video. I didn't get paid anything for this. They sent me these headers and told me, give us an honest review, let us know what you think. And you can go watch on my channel the other review for those long tube headers. I'll leave the link to that in the description below. I'll leave the link to their website in the description below. And I'll leave the link to their Black Friday sale that's happening in the description below. So y'all should be good to go with all that info right there. Anyways, guys, Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace.